What's up, y'all? It's your boy DJ Busby.
And it's your boy JKD.
And from the time you hear the voices, you know it's only up from here. It's the Up From Here podcast. Back with another one. And today, people, we are talking vision boards. Vision boards.
Yes, sir.
For those of you that do not know what a vision board is, JKD, why don't you fill them in?
A vision board is just a board where you put all your aspirations, you put all your thoughts, your ideas onto a board or a piece of paper. It doesn't even have to be a physical board. It can be your phone. And just goals and life aspirations of what you want to achieve in life, you know, or you want to do in the short term, or you want to do in the long term.
So what would you say is the importance of doing a vision board?
I think number one is it's accountability to yourself. You know, these are things that you want to achieve. These are things that you want to gain. It could be anything that you want to do to get you to that next level in life, and it's more of accountability for yourself. Am I going to do it this week? Am I going to do it within 6 months? Is it going to take me 3 to 5 years to do?
Right.
It's that accountability aspect of it. That's what I like about it.
Got you.
Yeah.
Now, for me, and when it comes to vision boards, I realized how effective and how real a vision board is when I actually first got into it, and understanding that writing these things down is pivotal for it actually becoming a real thing.
Yeah.
And the first, even before I heard the term vision board, now again, you know me, I don't like to read.
Yeah.
Okay, I can read, despite what JD keeps saying on this. Okay, all right. Okay, I can read.
Yes.
I do not like to read.
Right.
But the first book I ever read in its totality, and yes, this includes up until the end of university, I never finished a book.
Right.
None of the school textbooks that I had to finish for class. Sometimes I was winging tests and projects. I didn't read the chapters. Right, but I was never a reader. I didn't like to read.
Right.
But the one book I did read, and I have to big up Willard, I always big him up because this book literally changed my perspective on so many things. He bought me The Alchemist, and I would encourage anybody to go and read that book. And the essence and the purpose of that book was to convey the idea that, okay, when you have a thought, it becomes something eventually.
Right.
But the only way for it to materialize is you to have that thought.
Yeah.
And when it came down to him in the book, like, he would think about certain things and they would maybe be way in the long term of his scope. But he realized that the fact that he thought about it and that being a goal of his, constantly doing something towards that every day, eventually got him to that point anyway.
Yeah.
Right? And the purpose of a vision board is to write down your ideas, to think about it consistently, so that you're always doing something to go towards that goal. Right. Now, do you always meet that goal?
No, absolutely not. No.
But it's very real, and I would say that because I literally have my vision board here.
Right.
And before I get to that, I want you to share maybe some of the things you used to have on your vision board.
Yeah.
But I have my vision board here, and the things that I've checked off without even realizing it is crazy.
Yeah.
And I'll actually read you guys my 2017 vision board and my 2019.
Yeah.
But before that, just understand that the purpose is that your thoughts eventually become things.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you got to take that into consideration because that goes both good and bad.
Yeah.
But if you have these big goals and big aspirations, the point is just for you to see the finish line, and you constantly looking at the finish line, you're always going to be in, okay, how do I get there?
Yeah.
What do I do? What little things?
Yeah.
So as we're talking vision boards, I want you, JKD, share some of your original, when you first did a vision board.
So when I first did a vision board, it was before I put down any goals of mine or any aspirations that I wanted to do. I actually wrote down some Bible verses and some prayers, because to me, you cannot do anything without God. So that's just how I started mine, and then I went into talking about, okay, well, what do I want to see for my family? So I started writing things down like, I want to get Lauren into swimming so she can, when she's at this age, she can be like a good swimmer. You know what I'm saying? Even with the kids going to school, there's a certain type of school that I want them to get into, and I know it's going to cost this much. So I put down, some plans to help them, to help me save some money to get them to that kind of school.
Nice.
And then I focus on myself. There's one goal I had where I want to be down 100 pounds by this year. Not this year particularly, but by a certain year.
By the second
Yeah.
year.
So, what are some steps that I need to take in order to get there?
Nice.
I put down drinking water, make sure I'm eating right, all that stuff.
Good.
And just my business, there's a figure that I keep I said it to you last week. Keep saying it to to the team. There's a figure that I actually want to make this year, because I'm seeing the growth of my business and how it's reaching worldwide and whatnot.
So just for the average person listening,
Yeah.
here we're talking about Jake Eddie's graphic design business.
Yes, sir. Yes.
And meanwhile, he still works a 9 to 5.
Yes. Yeah.
So you just want to see that particular number out of your personal business.
Yes, correct.
Gotcha.
Correct. And there's a particular figure that I want to reach, and I'm going to get it. For sure, I'm going to get it this year.
Mm-hmm. Especially once I get my bill. Once I get my graphics bill. I usually come in at the end, Once I get out, you're gone. Goals done. You're good. Vision board written off. You're good. But I love it, man. That's what it's about, right? And again, you might not hit every single thing on the list.
Definitely not.
But the point is to think about it consistently and have it somewhere that's visible.
Yeah.
It's a vision board. And have these goals written down so that you could see it on a day-to-day basis.
Yeah.
To kind of give yourself that reminder.
Yeah.
I got to do these things. And at one point, it's just the board.
Yeah.
Right? It's just thoughts on a paper. Yeah. But it's really up to you to take that action.
Yeah. I want to add, too, that a lot, like when I first started doing it, I was writing down a lot of like long-term goals, which there's no problem with that. Yeah. I just found that I got tired, in a sense, of trying to reach a long-term goal where I can, focus on the small ones first. And those were much easier to obtain. And then once I started doing that, like focus on the small ones, I was like, okay, well, let me see if I can take it a next step, and focusing on much longer ones.
Good.
Yeah.
And that's how I set up my vision board. Like it's no one way to set it up.
Yeah.
Right? It's how it applies to you and your life and what you want to do.
Yeah.
But for me, for instance, when I have a vision board, I'll literally have a section for short-term goals and then a section for long-term.
Right.
And the craziest part about that is how often it changes.
Yeah, for sure.
Because I'm telling you, I'm going to read you my vision board from 2017, which is literally mind-blowing to look back at.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, at the time, I'm like, I hope I would get these things, but I really don't know how.
Right.
Come 6-7 years later, it's like it's blowing my mind to look back and be like, I did 90% of this.
Yeah.
And this is the importance that we're trying to convey to the listeners out there about a vision board. It's worked for us. Many people have talked about it, and we encourage you guys to do the same if you have any goals and aspirations down the line.
Yeah.
But do you have anything else goals wise that you put down, or that was mainly the
those are mainly the ones, but like it's my vision board is always updating, bro. Like I may be thinking about something I want to do tomorrow. Like what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Another big thing that I've want to do or am going to obtain is that I actually want to start cultivating Christian events. I know I stepped away from doing the club and fets one, and to be honest, I wasn't. My mind wasn't thinking of going that direction. But I had certain people in my life tell me like, bro, you're good at this. Why don't you do it? And it wasn't just one or two. It was a whole bunch of people, bro. So like to me, that's just like a sign saying, yo, like I should be doing something.
Right.
So that's new on my vision board right now.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So as I said, it changes, right?
Yeah.
You may have a certain list of things you want to do, and you may think it's long term, but the way the world works and the way life works, next week you could accomplish a couple of the biggest things on your list.
Yeah, absolutely.
Out of nowhere.
Yeah.
And then once you get there, you realize, okay, there's more to go.
Yeah.
What else can I do now that I have whatever it is?
Yeah.
Now, people, I'm going to read you guys my vision board list, right? The short-term list. I have it in my email. So this is dated from 2017 that I emailed to myself. Right? This was my early 2017 into late 2018 vision board.
Right.
Now, get a permanent job, right? So this was before I had a permanent job. I had a temporary position.
Yeah.
I got that within the year. Hit over 1,000 attendees at one of my events. We got to 5,000
Right.
at Tsunami last year. And we hit the 1,000 mark in 2018. 1,700 to be exact. Similar in your vein, lose 70 pounds.
Right.
That has fluctuated up and down, but definitely taking the steps as well. And that's changed on my vision board, which I'll get into later. Buy a new car. I did that in 2020.
Yeah.
The plan was to buy it in 2021. Have a DJ booking every single day of the week or of a week.
Okay.
And I think I got to 5 out of the 7 days.
Okay, nice.
So close, but I'm almost there.
Yeah.
Or is it? Make Willard my manager.
Right.
Willard became my booking manager. Buy the Jordan 12 Masters, the white OVOs. And so I got the Master. I didn't get the OVOs, but this is also when I was much younger. So
You're right.
I'm looking back laughing now. Buy nice rings and a watch. Bought multiple of those since. Buy new turntables and an S9 mixer. That's what's sitting right there. I bought that a year later. Mold this podcast into something that's helpful to everybody and profitable to everybody working on it. Still in the grind with that, but it's definitely helpful.
Yes, for sure.
Now this is that was the short-term list for 2017 into 2018.
Okay.
I accomplished most of that within those 2 years.
Yeah.
This is now 2019/2020. I can't read this first one.
What does it say?
Listeners laugh, huh? Can't read that one. Definitely can't read that one, but I figured it out.
Yeah, you did. You definitely did.
I definitely figured that one out. Bring back the DJ network and get 15,000 subscribers. We're at 10,000 right now.
Nice.
Almost there.
Okay.
Look into potentially investing into a property with my sister. My sister and I were in the process of looking at that. Then COVID came.
Right.
Kind of altered those plans, and you guys see the housing market. But it's still on the vision board. And then this was look into purchasing a new vehicle late 2021. I actually got it late 2020.
Okay.
Be completely independent as a DJ with my own events. That is in its process.
Yeah.
And I'm waiting till a point where I could safely leave my 9 to 5 without hesitation.
Right.
And it's on its way there.
Yeah.
I thought about it and it's there. This one's funny. DJ on a Private Ryan Soca Brainwash. This is now my 4th time that I've been booked.
That's crazy.
On a Private Ryan Soca
Right.
Brainwash.
Yeah.
Get the DDJ SRT controller. That's sitting somewhere right over there.
Okay.
Now, long-term list. Funny enough, again, I accomplished some of these without even realizing.
Yeah.
Not this one yet.
Okay.
But make my first $1 million. Make $1 million a year.
Okay.
Have an office for all of this, all of my business, which includes DJing, podcasting, DJ network, even like a graphic or a media section.
You can put design in there. You're a designer.
Well, that's your
Giraffe
business.
graphics. It's good.
I'll have a little side studio for you. Have a group of employees for this business. Get 100,000 subscribers on YouTube. Produce one of the world's biggest soca songs.
Wow.
Be one of the most recognized DJ acts in the world. Be in a movie that's in cinemas. And have my music that I produce in that movie as well. DJ at almost every carnival in the world. I think we've checked off a lot of those. I want to read this fully, but basically have the DJ Khaled life.
Okay.
2 kids, a wife, some luxurious living lifestyle that came from a bunch of hard work and just be able to, do well for my family.
Okay.
And then lastly, help my parents and sister pay off all of their bills.
Okay.
Right? So even on the long-term list, which I'm still working on a substantial amount of that, I've checked off enough of that.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
And not even like, maybe sometimes not even per se trying.
Yeah.
But the fact that I took certain steps got me in the place or position to
Yeah.
tackle those things.
Yeah.
So those of you listening that know me or know of what I've been doing recently, to hear that list, which is date stamped in my email, and that's how you know I did it back then.
Yeah.
Right? Since 2017, I talked about a lot of the stuff that's happened in abundance.
It's also rewarding for me too, just because I get to see it. I get to see what you wrote down into for fruition.
Yeah.
Can't even say that word.
Fruition. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
it brings me joy to see that. So
Facts. Especially when you of all people know what goes on.
Yeah,
the
yeah,
back scenes,
yeah.
you know, behind
The
scenes.
struggle and everything, bro.
Yeah. Struggle, fight down the whole works.
Yeah.
But again, like you said, with God,
Yeah.
all is possible.
Right.
And who God bless.
No man curse.
But the point is, like, you guys are now literally seeing in real time the things I wrote down 7 years ago
Right.
are happening in abundance already within that time frame that I set. Right? I set 2-year limits on the short-term goals. I knocked out almost everything
Yeah.
in way under the time.
Right.
But it's the fact that I had them on paper and I thought to myself, these are the things I want. I'm going to take little steps to get there.
Right.
Right? A big thing I saw the other day on socials was there was one of them memes or posts.
Yeah.
And it just had in text that, you know, you could be trying so hard at something for, let's say, 5 years.
Yeah.
And 4 out of those 5 years, you could see little to no results.
Yeah.
But that 5th year, something could happen that will make you the biggest thing in the world.
Yeah.
So when that happens, do you really think those 4 years were of no value?
You're right.
You were working towards the 5th year.
Yep.
So now once you've reached the biggest in the world, you now have that experience under your belt and you can move forward and soar.
Yeah.
So these things are really important.
Has there been an item where you had to remove?
Good question. Good question. Probably.
Yeah.
And I only say that because I probably removed it before the email, so I can't trace back to 7 years ago, which again is the purpose of leaving it, you know, written down somewhere.
Right.
So even though, and that's an amazing question, but even though you take down or take out that particular item, one day it may be feasible enough for you to actually do it.
Right.
So it's good to keep it there as a refresher to say, yeah, maybe I took it out, but now I can actually put it back in.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean,
That's
there's
what she said.
this guy is so wild. I mean, I don't think there's any fault to taking something off that is not feasible or not, like, it's not working out for you at that moment. Again, God only gives you stuff that you can bear, and it's His plan. If it's only His plan that it's gonna work out. So, like, if you have something on there and it's not working out, maybe it's just not. It's not for you.
Right.
Let's try to find something else. You know.
Got you. Very interesting perspective and something I didn't even really think about, but it's something that should be noted.
Yeah, for sure.
Because at the end of the day, as much as a vision board is there, a big part of that, again, is you putting in the work.
Yeah.
And sometimes you come to a self-realization. Like I had a conversation about, I wouldn't say who it is. I had a conversation with somebody just yesterday about this particular topic. And I said, bro, at the end of the day, what you're doing falls on you.
Yeah.
Right? These are your ideas. And this is something I had to come to realize. As much as, yeah, you could have help, at the end of the day, if it's your project, it's what you
want
have
it
to do.
Right.
And part of that process is sitting there and realizing, okay, even if I have a company worth of people, there could be one day where everything's going amazing, you're skyrocketing, but half of those people decide to quit
Right.
for whatever reason. But that day could come.
Yeah.
And if that's the case, are you still willing to do what it takes to fill in that void?
Yeah.
If the answer is no, you may have to sit back now and reflect and say, is this really for me?
Right.
Because that day is very possible.
Yeah.
It's a fact. You may have to be the one putting in whatever work needed to get the job done.
Right.
But if you're not willing to do that, is this for you?
Right. Yeah.
And I had to tell him that, and he was like, bro, you're right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right? And you only realize these things actually getting your hands in the mud, so to speak, for lack of better words.
Yeah, true.
You got to experience it and understand why these things are important to know, why this line of thinking is extremely important, and having a vision where you're determined to meet that goal one day.
Yeah, for sure.
I think one of the hardest things both of us consistently, and we spoke about it in this podcast, was losing weight.
Yeah.
Because that's not something that's easy.
Yeah.
And if it was easy, everybody would do it.
Yeah.
By tomorrow, everybody would be fit.
Right.
But it's not something that's the easiest thing to do. But again, like you said, sometimes it's not looking at it as, okay, I have to lose 100 pounds.
Right.
Maybe, as I said, I have a short-term and long-term list. Your long-term could be 100, but now your short-term maybe I need to drink 4 liters of water every day, 5 liters of water every day. I need to do that.
Yeah.
And then as you're looking at this vision board, I think a good thing to do would probably be to put it as like a background or something.
Yeah.
Maybe even like those of you at your 9 to 5, put it on the wallpaper of your screen.
Yeah.
So every morning when you log into work, you're seeing that.
I actually have mine in my basement. So like I got my wife, because we don't have like a big scale printer, but I got my wife to print out some like quotes and some things that I want to achieve in life. I even printed out like pictures of the last time I lost a lot of weight.
Nice.
And I put them on my wall, bro. And every time because downstairs is my sanctuary. So every time I come downstairs, I look at that wall and I recite every single thing every morning.
You see? And then again too, like for instance, like I said earlier, I'm not the type that likes to read.
Yeah.
You may not be the type that likes to read either. You don't necessarily need to write down anything on your vision board.
Right.
You could literally have pictures of stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
That you could cut and paste like it's elementary school.
Yep.
You could design this on your computer and copy and paste and print out something. But the fact is, having some sort of document where you could recite this on a frequent basis.
Yeah, yeah.
It's obviously best to do it daily because it's kind of like affirmations.
Right.
Something that you could take in daily and have a constant reminder, okay, this is what I want to achieve.
Right.
Right. And vision boards are imperative. Man.
Yeah, man.
And I know this was what the items you gave were like your current vision board.
Yeah.
So is there anything, you asked me if I deleted anything.
Yeah.
Is there anything you would add on top of that and that you've come to realize you wanted recently?
Not really, most of the stuff, like, again, I'm not really like a material guy. Like, I'm not saying it's wrong, but I'm just saying I'm not like, I want this Mercedes or I want this. It's cool if you want that, cool. But just for me, it's more, I want to focus on my health, focus on getting my business to that next level. And those are all the stuff that I have on my board right now. So,
that's amazing.
Yeah.
And then that's key. And I think we could end off on that point. Sometimes you may have such elaborate and huge visions and huge dreams that you may have 200 things on that vision.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm not saying to take them all off.
Right.
But sometimes just one person can only do so much.
Right.
So it might be best to confine that to something that's reasonable and conducive to your life.
Right.
Right? As much as you may have all these goals, sometimes maybe shorten it to 5 or 10.
Right.
Because if you have 200 on there, it may be overwhelming and you'll just say, whatever.
Absolutely. Yeah.
I don't even want to do anything anymore.
Exactly.
So a big thing for me was going back to this vision board when I had short-term goals. And I maybe checked, I probably checked every year. And then turning back and seeing, oh my God, I actually did these things.
Mm-hmm.
And not thinking about it per se, like every day I wasn't reading this list.
Right.
But the fact that I had it in my head that I wanted to get it done, it got done.
Right.
And I am proof, JKD is proof. We've done a lot of the substantial things we've already said we put on our vision board.
I mean, it takes a lot of discipline and consistency. I think that's the key too. Mm-hmm. Like I feel like people who write down goals and that they want to achieve, sometimes they're not really consistent with it. Like without work, it's dead. You know what I'm saying? You got to work harder at it. You got to be consistent.
Yep. And just as a business owner and dealing with a lot that gets thrown at you, that's something you have to realize as somebody who owns a business. It's never going to be all perfect.
No, never.
Right? And as much as you have these goals, which may not all be business oriented.
Yeah.
As you said, some of your goals were family oriented.
Yeah.
That also is not perfect.
Yeah. No.
Divorce rates are high. Anything could happen. Your spouse this, you that.
Yeah.
Your God, forbid anything happens to any of y'all your kids.
Right.
These are real things that are possible. So not everything is 1 + 1 = 2, especially where life is concerned.
Yeah.
So have something that's reasonable that you could sit back and say, okay, I can get these things done. And I promise you, it's kind of like working out in the gym.
Yeah.
Can you go there one day and expect to get results? No.
Yeah.
2 days? Yeah. Probably not.
Right.
But if you go in there 100 or 200 days, you're a new person at that point.
Yes, absolutely.
Right? And those are the type of things that's important to keep in mind and understand, right?
Yeah.
So, people, it's a quick one today, but an episode about vision boards. We shared our stories. I literally read my vision board. I've never done that publicly. So that's something that's,
Right.
And it was amazing for me to sit there and read live and think back to what I accomplished.
I got a question for you before we go. Sorry. I want to know, what was your thinking behind you getting into a movie? What made you put that down?
The reality of it is, I think at that time, I was seeing DJ Khaled.
Oh, okay.
And he was in a big movie, and then songs of his that he's produced was in that.
Okay.
So I'm like, this guy, like, not only is he killing his lane, he got into movies as well, and I'm behind the camera right now.
Right. Yeah.
We put out content that has a viewership, so it's not like I'm timid or I can't do this.
Right.
And a movie is something of scale.
Right. True.
So, like, not just any movie. I'd want to be in like a blockbuster type film.
Yeah.
And even filmmaking. Again, my vision board has changed and continues to change.
Yeah.
Something, like I asked you the question, is there anything recently you put on yours? Something recently I put on mine, and not too recent.
Yeah.
Filmmaking.
Okay.
I have a story to share.
Yeah.
I think I could actually create like what my ideas are in a story form. And if I had the right actors, actresses, and support team, why can't we make films?
Nice.
And we're going into a day and age where like the cineplexes of our day is not that as important anymore.
Right.
What last have you seen in the movies worth going to watch?
Nothing.
And I have free passes just sitting collecting dust in my room because the one time I went to the cinema, they had 3 blackouts during the movie.
Right.
And in between those 3 blackouts, they never paused the stuff.
Wow.
It just kept playing into the point where the power went back on. And then at the 3rd blackout, they were like, all right, guys, we're sorry. We cannot continue this movie because of the technical difficulties. It's not our fault because it's like a Pickering-wide thing.
Yeah.
So we're going to need to ask you guys to leave, but we'll all give you
your refund.
No, just it was like 2 passes each.
A voucher, okay.
2 vouchers each for any class of movie.
Okay.
Right? But the point is that experience of watching movies in a cinema is dying.
It is dying.
We all have the access to watch like Netflix and whatever off of our
I was gonna ask today on my social media if anybody still collects like scene points. Because I feel like it's obsolete now.
Yeah. The most I interact with the cinema these days is buying popcorn on the street. Skippy knows. Skippy does it too. That's how I knew I wasn't that weird.
Yeah.
Because before I was always weird to tell. I was worried to tell people. But then Skippy came down and saw a bag of the popcorn one day. He's like, I thought I was the only one. But yeah, there's filmmaking. Okay, let's put it this way. Is there anything else you would want to put on your list?
Yeah, again, I always had it in the back of my mind that I want to be in some kind of commercial or just be like an extra in some kind of some TV show. And another one is I've always been saying it, but I just never put it down, is that I want to write a book. I want to write a book. And there's a couple of ideas that I have of what I want to write about, but there's one in particular I don't want to put out there. But there's one in particular I know for a fact could do some numbers if I wrote it. If I actually took the time and actually did it.
Nice. This is what it's about.
Yeah.
And now we could clip up these moments, so when you write that book,
facts.
we'll timestamp this, post it, and then show your award from doing that.
Yeah.
Same like book writing. Again, I don't really read like that, so I'm not enthusiastic about it.
Yeah.
But to do an audio book or something, or even just transcribe it and then sell the book as well, so that people who do read could absorb the information, because that's really all it is.
Yeah.
It's information. Movies is definitely a lane I want to go down. Various things, man. Again, like my scope now has changed. Back then, I was very fixated on being this superstar DJ. And while that may be true still, there's avenues like the podcast, which I know could be dominated and aren't really touched in our field, that provides so much value and probably arguably even more than if I were a superstar DJ.
Right.
And there's no stopping that either. Why do I have to choose one?
Yeah.
I could be both.
Yeah.
So now podcasting may be a lot higher in the importance of my vision board.
Yeah.
Doing books as well as courses, building something that builds residual income over time.
Nice.
All of these little things. I definitely want to stick to that 2 kids and wife situation.
Okay.
I
No
can't
3,
do
eh?
it. No.
And I do the 3rd one.
Because I grew up with just a sister.
True.
And I like that. And then like everybody has their own, because there's people that grew up with 10 brothers and sisters that like that.
Yeah.
Right? But for me personally, I enjoyed the dynamic of just 2 and then a boy and a girl.
Yeah.
But anymore, I think I'd probably just lose all my hair at that point. So I don't.
Hey, what are you trying to say? I still have mine. I still have mine. What are you trying to say?
It's going. It's going. We see it going. Every episode, let it count the hairs that go. No, but real talk. You grew up with how many
I grew up.
y'all, right?
Yeah, it's 4 of us.
Right.
Yeah.
So you having 3, in your opinion, is it as bad?
No.
It's probably arguably better for you.
Yes.
But I don't know 4.
Right.
Nor do I know 3.
Right.
And who's to say, even though I want to, you may get fired.
Yeah, true.
I don't know. I don't want to speak anything too crazy into existence.
Right.
With that said, let's just cut it off right here. I don't want this vision board getting too wild. Your thoughts do become things.
Facts.
Anyhow, people, we appreciate you for listening to yet another episode of the Up From Here podcast. Thank you so much. And we ask that you guys make sure to subscribe. Make sure to like the post wherever you listen to it. Make sure you comment under the video posting just to give us your thoughts on what you heard.
Yeah.
And definitely make sure to share it with a friend you know could use this information too.
Yes, sir.
That's been another one, people, and we are out.
Peace.